Hello beautiful people, welcome back. It's underscore Gintu back again. Today I'm bringing this vibe from around the river YouTube here, and our river YouTube is drying up day to day. Look at the quantity of water that's just coming today. So it's a very minute amount of water coming, and it's a little bit drying. And today I am coming one-on-one from my fish ponds here, so that I can just see what is happening and what is to be implemented at this fish pond site. So guys, as everything that we have just done, and you can just remember the last time I was doing fertilization here, and right now you can now check water. It's now turning into green, which is a pale green in nature. I talked about from some couple of 4, 3 to 7 days now it will have turned into green fantastically. So you can even check right now, it's not as clear as it used to be. So it's now coming to be pale green in color, and this is the color I want it to reflect. So whenever it be conk, what I need from here is a higher concentration of the pale green in color, and that pale green in color now will be a good algae concentration. Here we have an outlet here, so fantastic. Exactly. So that stage 3 is now done of fertilization. So I'm waiting, so as water now can settle, then turn into green and be much of a highly concentrated with algae and green turbidity. And also people might be talking about the green bloom. That's what I want it to develop, as I'm just waiting so a little bit, so as I can now stock some of the fingerlings here. So here was the manure that I was using, and I think some people are stealing it because I never left it this way. I hope some people are stealing it from here. So that's the big challenge we have here, guys. And I'm going to be talking about the challenges mostly we are facing in terms of fish farming. Such kind of theft is the biggest scamming that's always undergoing here and to the village, because they think that maybe it's not thinking also, it's my area, it's not yet fenced, so that's what is bringing some chaos into this area, because I never left it this way. So I'm coming here and I'm getting it, it's now very low, so even it's flattened already. So that's how things are running, but we have to bear with the circumstances. The people always talk about even them are allowed to be in the ecosystem or in the environment, because they have to make sure that the environment or the ecosystem is complete. So we should have some thieves here. So for a complete environment or a complete ecosystem, we should have thieves also. So that's what is continuing here, and we have to bear with the circumstances, because they are our brothers and sisters outside here. So this is how the fish ponds now are looking, and now the only thing remaining, guys, is slashing and making sure that all the grasses are slashed into a minimum manner, so as they are not going to like right now here you can even check grass is protruding to get into the fish pond inside there, because guys, I talked about this water is whenever we throw here some manure, we enrich it with much nutrients relevant for the growth of the crops also, because it's manure, it has nutrients for the growth of crops. So whenever grass attach itself inside here, it develops some roots. Look at this, it develops some roots, very big, very many one. Look at this, look at here. We have this root, we have here, we have here, we have, so it's developing where it's just moving. So whenever you leave it here like 1 month coming, you'll find that every section has brought its grasses inside, and they congest, then they sink down. Whenever now they become together, then they be heavy, so for water to lift, then they start upgrading themselves. So as the leaves, and also we have the roots now going deeper, so as they can attach themselves to the ground. And whenever now they touch themselves to the ground, they cover the whole pond, and it's very it will be so very hectic whenever you want to remove them, because it will be very hectic and disgusting too. And this is how everything is moving from this segment. So guys, I was talking about I'm gonna be giving you much of the things that we are focusing on, and that brings some chaos to us. Much of the challenges we also pass whenever we talk about the fish farming process and fish farming onto this side of the villages inside here, because my all vlogs are done in the villages and how people are trying to uplift their standards of living and becoming people who are relatively to the community and they can be recognized. As I talked about, I'm the only fish farmer who has many fish ponds here, and also I rear much of the fish from these fish ponds here. It's like 10 kilometers all around, so you can never find much of the people who has such kind of the fish ponds. Some of them have one, but they are not highly into this business because they are trying it. This business, guys, I can talk about. It's resembles to it's called poultry farming, because it has same from the starters to the finishes, and also even it's 6 months. Whenever you have a good quality, or we can talk about you have good quality feeds, and also you have good quality of the fingerlings, it can just take about 6 months and you will have harvested fish from here. So the challenges is mostly we have predator birds, and predator birds I talked about. We have kingfisher here, we have marabou stock, we have herons, and also we have the dark waters, the dark ones. So sometimes you can just find some ducks here, because we have they're called wild ducks, exactly, and you can just find them inside here. And also we have some turtles and tortoise. So because I talk about tortoise, sometimes develop into there are two types. We have tortoise and also we have the turtles, but I have never seen some turtles here because of the legs, how they look like, because they look like duck-like. So I've never seen some turtles here, but we have much of the tortoises, and they're just rampant. You can just find such kind of a source of water which is just coming from this position. You can find some tortoises are going with this and to the river, or sometimes they can just hear the scent of the feed. So sometimes whenever you are feeding some of the fish, then you stand at this dikes here, then you throw here some feeds. Maybe whenever you want to feed the fish, sometimes you can get the leftovers left here. Whenever you want to throw some, fall down before they could just be subjected to water. So even that scent, it removes the tortoise from their sources where they are, then they come closer to here or to get that scent where it's coming from. So it's the same way you attract some of the snakes to come and feed on the small fingerlings you might be having onto your fish pond. So once upon a time, there's a time, guys, that I left my fish ponds and they were covered totally. It was last year. No, it was 2022. Yeah, it was in 2022. I had gone to school a little bit. Then I found that the fish ponds are covered totally with they've been covered with grass and everything. And also we have this kind of the grass. Look at this. We have this kind of a grass, and also we have this kind of grass, this one here, very tall. So whenever it covers the fish pond, now you have a very big hard work to do onto the fish pond, because I had gone to school for the chief chefing, and I was not able to maintain the fish pond. So the guy I left here to do the maintenance never worked the way I wanted, and it was just it was even stealing fish, so he was not maintaining the way I wanted. So you can just remember that if you have your own business, it's either you are the one to withstand them, or you are the risk taker. So make sure that you are the one who is representing your assets here, because whenever you depend to other people, they'll just fail you very soon, because their big aim is they want money after the end of a month, or they want something from you. Or the same fish, he has a family. That's what is there. He has family, so you can find that he's talking about, oh, today I don't have the greens, today I don't have maybe talk about anything at the house. So he can just come and take some fish from here, because he's the one who is taking care of the fish, and no one will ever recognize, because you always have like 1,000 fish per each fish pond. So if one person come and take even 3 or 4, no one will ever recognize that there are fish that have been removed from these fish ponds here. So that's how clearly it is right now, and the fish ponds are now very very clean, and there's nothing gonna be hindering me. And I have just done all the treatment because I talked about to have some predators that do affect us, and one of them, it's like the snakes. I've already put some manure in. The scent of manure will not encourage some of the snakes to get onto the fish ponds. So from there, let's talk about the predators, like the birds. So whenever I just make sure that this water is in green capability, so it will not facilitate the overseeing, or talk about the aerial view of the birds, to check on them direct from the aerial view. So that's why we put some of the manure, so as they can control such kind of the birds. Or you can just use predator birds, which are there but so expensive to purchase, because it's one that they can cover the whole pond on top. So for you to purchase like this whole pond, it can cost you like 2,000 per each pond. So it's much of like 100,000. So as you can finish covering the whole ponds, because that nets are so expensive, and that is what is happening to the village, and that's why you can never see us implementing much from this field. So it's only I want to get a guy who will be coming and making sure that the fish ponds are maintained clean, as we're gonna be facilitating much of the fish to come next month. And it's a new produce whereby I will be showing you much of what's going to be happening, as from the hatcheries until the stocking and the feeds we're gonna be feeding them, because I have a new produce or a product that I'm gonna be using in terms of fish farming, and it will be very okay. So by now I can see the fish ponds are so clean, because much of the people will be talking about they are so clean, and it's one of the biggest processes we ever do of making sure that whenever you harvest some fish, and guys, I can just show you because I was talking about whenever you want to open water out, this is where we always open the water, so as it can go out via this route. And from that site, I have just seen that it's now sealed and compacted very heavily from this area, so as this water cannot leak outside. So the only even other thing that's remaining here is making sure that we are putting here some of the outlet pipe, because I have only an outflow of water, but this water is retained here. So it's about 1.30 meters deep, and you shall have an outlet here, but inlet it has its own capillary of water coming from down. So we don't have much hesitation about water, because this area has a very high water table, which has very clear water and efficient for the rearing of fish from this position. So the pH for you to rear some fish, it will be like a 9.2 from 7, which is from the neutral of 7 up to 9.34 or 9.6 there. It will just reach into that position. So that water will be very good in terms of rearing some fish. But if you want, you can just know that the chemistry always entailed. If that water is not capable of rearing some fish, or you cannot stock there some fish, you have to lime the water, so as it can have a similar pH for the rearing of fish. So and to this water, it doesn't have any challenges. And whenever you want to construct a fish pond, you have to get in the officers who are in charge of the fish ponds, or aquaculture, or it's a blue economy, and they can just show you much about the water pH and soil pH, and how you can just maintain your fish ponds and make sure that you have a very big quality of fish. I talked about one fish pond is like this one here. It's 320 meters square, and the upper one, it's the second in largest, and it's 301 meter square, and this one is 300 meter square exactly. So look at how big it is. So it's 300 meter square, and that one 301 meter square. This is 320 meter square because it's very, very large, and also volume of water, it's very deep. So this is the deepest, followed by this one here, and this one is now the last, and it has about 1 meter exactly and below. Other positions you can just find at the corners there or the edges. It can have up to it can reach up to 90 centimeters, but this one here, the low point, it has the highest point is 1.3 meters, and the lowest point is 1.1 meters. And this one here, it's about 1.3. Some sections of that corner, that top corner, it has about 1 meter. This corner has 93 centimeters, and this corner has 90 centimeters. So it differs with the shape of how the fish pond is and how the construction was, because this one here, it was constructed with you know, guys, this was the first one for me to construct, because I started it when can talk about when I was in school after purchasing the land, and I engaged myself with the officers in charge of making sure that they can dig for you a fish pond. And this fish pond here was dug with the Ministry of Fisheries in Kenya, and I was part of the program that Kenya stood up with the people who have a land that is necessary, or it has the qualities, or it can qualify for being to be dug a fish pond, and it will be very, very free. The only thing we'll just do is accommodate the people who the government will be bringing them, because they had selected much of the people who will be digging some such kind of the fish pond, because it was like in 2017 the government of Kenya was embracing that people should have fish ponds, should be encouraged to have blue economy or aquaculture, which will be helping them a little bit. So whenever they constructed this and I stocked some fish, then it developed to have the second one, which is that at the far end. I dug that one in 2018, and this one is in 2020. And that is how I'm just maintaining them. So whenever I see that something is not good, I'll add that one to be the biggest, because it has a free space already that you can just dig and make sure that it's being expanded towards the upper section of where you can just see at that position. So right now we have much of water, and this is independent because it gains its water from that far corner, because we have much water coming from that corner and also this top side here. And this here, it has much of water is coming from the other section there, and it's now draining in. And this big fish pond here, it has its own water coming from down. Whenever you just open water here and it's going out, guys, you will find that water is standing up. It's coming out like a German machine. So that's how this fish pond, it's the biggest, and it's very, very dangerous whenever you get here and you don't have the idea of where you are stepping, because whenever you step, even right now here, it's very deep, and that soil is loose. So whenever you step there, you can just sink and sink, because the people who are just digging here, one of the people sank down until he reached onto this position. So people went and they pulled the guy from inside. So it's very, very dangerous whenever you don't know where you are just stepping. So for me, I have all the details, because I'm the one who was there and seeing what is happening. But this one here, it has much of the sand soil down, and it doesn't have much trouble or any kind of miscellaneous challenges. And the only mistake that is always performed here, and the challenges that we do occur onto these fish ponds here, it's the land collapsing because of the easing and loosening of soil at that edges of this fish pond there. And also this fish pond, you can even see we have land collapsing. look at even right now here, it has collapsed inside. So it means that much water is coming from the top side. And whenever people come to rehabilitate this fish pond, maybe they are throwing this kind of the ones that they remove inside and on top, because it becomes so bulky. Like now here you can even see it's bulky. And whenever it's now bulky and down it's very loose, it can just collapse with an immediate effect. So this is the challenges that do occur onto the fish ponds, and you should be aware of them. So for me, I can just make sure that whenever I harvest next time, I'll make sure that whenever it's being rehabilitated, I'll just make sure that I have cement bags or the 90 bag kgs for packaging maize, so as they can be put at the long side of this dike, so as it cannot collapse much inside. And this one here, last time it had collapsed, and it had a collateral damage, whereby I had to remove some fish and reallocate them to other fish ponds, so as I can rescue this fish pond. But right now it had been maintained and also expanded upward. It was a little bit smaller, but right now it's expanded so as it can have the equal shape. So with this one here, you can even see right now here, it's also collapsing, because look at from where it was initially, and we have some cement bags already stocked here. You can even see cement bags here. So it's a straight panel until that far end, but it has collapsed this land inside here, so as we have much of water and the forces coming from this fish pond, which is upper. And you can even see this fish pond is upper, this one is a little bit lower, and much of water even it's coming from up and coming to this fish pond. So this is receiving all the water because it's down. Even this one here, it's upper, this one is a little bit downer, and that's why we talk about this has much of water and it cannot go dry. Better the other ones to dry, but this one here, it can never dry in its lifetime. So this is what is happening from this segment. I'll be updating you on what is happening and what we are going to do in case we have some of the challenges and miscellaneous challenges covering us. So keep it in touch, keep it locked. Other things are coming, more lit outside here. Keep it in touch, keep it locked. Wow. Fantastic. So guys, before I get here, I have to measure first how deep it is. Hey, it's so deep. Look at this. So deep. Hey, when you go here, you might drown here. Guys, onto this river YouTube, and I can just tell a little bit that is always happening here. This is the river that's supplying the whole village with much of water, and it's now reducing a little bit because of it's a sunny season, and it's now reducing a little bit because whenever it's full, I cannot stand where I am because it goes full up to where inside here, and you can even see how it's just making some impact towards some people's land, and it's just supplemented this. It has some of the channels, this from my fish ponds, because my fish ponds are just up there, so my fish ponds are leaking downwards. So here we have much of the sand that is being harvested from this river, because you can even check, we have much of the sand coming out from this river, and it's just use of a spade, and it's just inserting your hand. You can just come with a very fine sand, which is very much highly concentrated here. Very good one. Look at this, so good one. So this is what is happening onto this river, because it's a source of income to much of the people because they can come here and get some sand, harvest some sand and sell to people who need some sand, and even people who are under construction, they can just use this water in construction. Even animals, whenever you go down here, you can just find that much of the people are bringing some of the cows and all the animals, domestic animals, to get some water from here. And also it's being used with the people in terms of showering, because it's not yet developed area, it's in the interior village, so you can find people showering alongside the river. And also it's one of the content, because it's called River YouTube. Much of the people are coming here to see which legend river is this called River YouTube, and you can get the idea from it. And also it's we can talk about this is a way that people can come and explore and see much of the things, because it has a much greatness because of the influence of YouTube, because it's coming from the far end where now the YouTube zone is. So I can just walk a little bit inside here, and it's now barefooted, because I want to feel the impact of, but this, hey, it's very, very sharp. Wow. I have to be very, very keen because of it has much of the stones. Wow. Water is very, very clean. Very clean. Look at this source of water. I have some water coming from inside here. You can feel how they are coming out. Let me check. So we have much water coming from every section to join River YouTube, and this is going to Lake Victoria. Oh, I like this place because it's so deep for someone to shower. Wow, look at this. Look at this, guys. So it's very, very deep into this position. So you can just come and shower to this area. So it has some sceneries. Wow. Wow. It has some sharp stones. Whenever you are not so don't see, you will just get your feet being dismantled. Wow. Wow. So guys, this is the famous river, and you can just walk inside it, but whenever it's a rainy season, you can never attempt it, because right now you can even see up to the ground. Look at this. You can see up to the ground, but whenever it's a rainy season, this water becomes very, very dirty, very, very dirty, and there's nothing you can ever do with this water, because it's in you have to let it being drunk with animals or people, for whoever wants to clean some clothes, because we have much of the people are lined up. Even this section here, even cows are sometimes tied here so as they can feed on the grasses that is alongside the river. And also people come to shower. Whenever you come with your animals to graze, you can just leave animals there, then you get in and shower. So it has much of the impact to the society, because they are using this water in a way that it's very, very useful to them. So hey, even my feet now looks very, very clean. Look at them. You can even see my feet, guys. Very fantastic. This is how it is. So right now water is very, very clean, very clean, very clean. Even me, I'm just wondering right now, because it's not it's maybe whenever we don't have much of the rain, so we have it being cleaned, and that is how we need it to be. So everything is so fantastic, guys, and I'll be updating you what is coming next and next and next. Because even, guys, we can talk about this river. It has a famous way of searching for food. because it has some mudfish inside there, and you can get some mudfish from the interior sections of that river, on the river banks, and you can get some mudfish, the black one, because we have a difference between a mudfish and a catfish. So that river, it has much of the mudfish. And also guys, there's a time that I harvested some fish from here, and I can just give you such kind of a small story, because it is touching, and right now it has an impact to me. Let me stay here a little bit. My boots are here. I have a little chair here. Wagwan. So guys, let me give you a small story about some several years ago. I stocked onto these 3 fish ponds here. It was in 2020 September there. I stocked some fish, and to this, all of them, the 3 fish ponds. Then after stocking some fish in September, in December, January, I stocked again inside here some catfish, because you cannot stock catfish and the fish, which are the tilapia fish, at the same time. So after a period of like 3 months to 3 months, then the tilapia fish has grown a little bit, and they have an impact. So then you go and make an order for a catfish to come. But catfish are so hard for the production, and even they have a high demand whenever they reproduce them from the hatcheries. So you make an order. I made an order like November. Then I was told that January they're going to be coming. So I purchased like 600, I can just remember, 600 catfish. Then I came with them. Now these fish were like 4 months old. Then I thrown here some catfish. So they grew very quickly, because whenever I was about to harvest, I found that this fish pond I stocked here like 200, the upper one 200, and the other one 200. So it was approximately 200 each pond. So when I was harvesting, guys, I found that only 138 catfish I could harvest. So I was wondering, I had removed the whole water out. The only catfish I could get is 138. Where could the others go? My head was kicking right and left, up and down. So I realized that those catfish were getting through downwards, the down of this fish pond, because the people who I purchased some catfish from, they never told me about catfish. They can get a small, it's called a seepage downwards of the fish pond. They can just get that seepage and rechannel themselves, or whenever water is coming from, because I just shown you at the river here, we have some of water which is getting from this fish pond through down area, and through a seepage down, and it's now accessing to the river, which is the river YouTube, and to this position. So they can just get through that panel or that seepage. Whenever it's so small, they can now drill their ways, and they can just go to the river. So I found that whenever I'm now harvesting here some fish, after a period of 2 days after now harvesting all the fish, one of the villagers who are coming from this top side of this side is called now Nyamwini, then he was now coming and getting some fish, fishing from inside here, going deeper inside the river banks. Then he just seals some water, like right now what is very minimal. You can just close it, and it will not have an impact to you. So he was fishing here many fish, catfishes, guys. He was getting, even he got more than what I harvested here. So that head of just getting again to stock here some catfish, it went that way, because they embarrassed me. Out of 600, I harvested 138. Others, the villagers harvested from the river, and they were celebrating very. Now you cannot go to them and tell them this catfish are mine. So how can you just go and express yourself? So that's how I lost the fish, the catfish. So even the upper fish pond, sometimes I was not around, sometimes I was around. You can find that water was being full and that fish pond of the upper side, then water was draining to this fish pond which is down here. So you can find that they like such kind of overflowing water. they can just walk and go. You know, a catfish, guys, it's not like a fish, it will be retained into the much water. So it can just find a small channel, even an outlet, whenever it can, even whenever you seal a net so as they cannot pass, you can find it making sure that it's looking for a pathway onto that outlet so as it can get out. So we have a much challenge with these earthen fish ponds. If it could be, you know, we have much of the different types of ponds, the fish ponds. Like these ones here are called earthen fish ponds because they are dug and water is natural from down. And we have liners. These are the ones that they use polythene papers, polythene sheets, so as they can retain water. They're called liners. Even they can, the act of liner is coming from that polythene. It's a polythene liner that is enclosing the whole pond. So we have another one called a pond, which is a tank pond. And also we have cages, and we have some hoppers. So it will depend on which kind of the fish pond you want to access in. So that's how everything is moving, guys. So I was embarrassed and I'll never go back to catfish. Maybe I make sure that I am alone who is investing in it, so as I can make sure that everything is so fantastic and I can rear some of them. So right now, guys, I can just speak about it has been a long awaited time, as I've not stocked some fish because I removed some fish like 1.5 months ago, and it's still in an exercise of making sure that I'm now getting out very good quality of fish from these fish ponds, because other times back I was just removing some fish and making sure that I'm sealing the same day, water becomes full at the same day or the following day. Then I do fertilization, then I put some over, or I allow water to come in, which is accessing water and also putting new fish inside. Whereas I never knew that we have some wild fish that were born there, which are unnecessary onto the pond. So they minimize or they bring competition to the fish pond, whereby making sure that the ones that will be stocking here, they have much of the competition. And also the wild fish, they lay eggs very quickly and reproduce very quickly, like 2 months. But the ones we are going for, they are called male, which are the monosex. They are treated in a manner that they will not come and give or reproduce. So much of them are male. So from that, so I wanted now to have a quality thing, because last time I purchased some fish and they were dwarf in times of nature and they were not growing. So right now I don't want to go back to that kind of a mess, whereas I purchased some fish and they never grew. I gave them food, so I went a loss. So right now it's a serious business, and I want to be here alone, so as I can make sure that I'm doing what I know in a perfect way. So sometimes you can find, last time I was in catering and accommodation, and also I was very busy outside here, and that's why I was not muchly in these fish ponds. That's why I lacked much of they lacked me, and I never knew that even the fish I purchased were dwarf in nature. So that's the problem with our hatcheries that are produced in Kenya. And sometimes it's much of how knows you and how do you know the government, and you are given such kind of tenders to supply some of the young siblings of the fish, which are called the fingerlings and the fries. So that's what is happening onto the field, and we're gonna be sealing everything so as we don't have any route that will lead to loss of the fish or loss of anything onto the fish pond. So that's how the fish ponds are working right now here, because I have the earthen ones, and I rear tilapia fish. Most of them are monosex, and they are bright red tilapia, because the bright black tilapia sometimes they have reluctant in terms of growing. But catfish, if you want, like if you have some fish, then you have stocked already some fish and you never done what's called pond rehabilitation, and also making sure that you are killing all the organisms that are still surviving with the use of calcium oxide, which is now called the cleaning of the pond from the pebbles, that all the pebbles that have water are subjected to calcium oxide, so they can kill all the organisms that are crawling inside. And you can just put some catfish, like 100 into 1 pond, so they will clear all the siblings, or call about the fingerlings, or the fries that are being produced or hatched in the fish pond via the wild fish that are there. So you can control it, but you should make sure that you don't stock catfish and fish at the same time. So for you not to have such kind of a mess, you should know that you can put some fish first, which is tilapia fish. Then at around 3 months old of the tilapia fish, then put the catfish while they are in a stage of fingerling. So in that, you can just be in a manner that you're gonna be survived, because catfish grow within 2 months. It has already bypassed the fish, and it can now eat even the small young ones of a fish. So whenever it's like subjected to 4 months, it can even eat those fish. And when you leave it like 6 months, it can even clear the whole pond. So it grows very quickly, and it doesn't need much of the feeds like the catfish, like the tilapia fish, because tilapia fish are so expensive, even looking for the food. So it's very expensive. For you to have an access to them, if you can just rear them, they need very minimal amount of food and not of the concentrate only. You can just throw here some chime. You can throw here some maize husk. They can eat everything. Now, whenever you subject them to the concentrate feeds, it means that you want them to grow very quickly, and they grow very fast. And in that manner, you can find them now eating the other fish you have stocked with them. But the good solution is maybe like me, I have 3 ponds. I can select to have 1 pond with the catfish and 2 has. But in that nature, it means that we don't have much of the market demand for the catfish. So that's the biggest problem we have here, because much of the people know tilapia fish, and whenever you give them some catfish, they talk about it look like a snake. Some of them are not lured into it or the meat of the catfish, and also they need much of time because of drying, making sure that you preserve them for further use, or they need much of the time. You have to dry them a little bit, so you need oil. So they have much work. It's not like tilapia fish. It's just removing them and you can just sell to the market, and that is what is making tilapia fish to be more famous than catfish and to this area. And if you have a local market like me, you can just remove some catfish and go to the town direct and just fry them there. And because you will be removing small, and it will take you some couple of days, that if you can just find a very good market like the tilapia, they can be took all of them from the fish pond with an immediate effect, then you can proceed with your own things again of rehabilitation of the pond. So catfish, they need a lot of time for you to harvest and do this and do that. And also, whenever they're subjected here, some of them lay here. So you'll find that they will just go to, it's called some pebbles. They create some pebbles and also burrows. They go and hide to some of the burrows alongside the fish pond, and whenever you restock again, you will find that they are there and they'll eat some of fish from you. And that is what I'm making sure that some people are not subjected in such kind of the things, but I've ever passed through into that. So keep it in touch, guys. I'll be giving you more of the hints and the videos coming, so as we can cherish together as a team. It's _Gintu, and this is the end. Keep it watching, keep it vibing.